we will see more faces involved in the expanded playoff than ever. But I think it's going to be Georgia and Ohio State in this prop because you look at high school recruiting, it's number 1 and 2 in the country, and they're by far right there with Alabama. So it's going to be the name of high quality depth. And when you look at not just the high school recruiting, but the 2025 mock consensus mock draft, they're number 1 and number 2 there. So high quality depth because you're going to have to go through a 12-game regular season, a really competitive conference title game, and then 3 more high-power games. So it might sound like chalk or make for boring radio there, but I think that's the right pick. It's just the 2 most talented teams. The last bit too is these dynasty tier teams. Usually they cycle through their players a lot quicker than others to the pros. Guys leaving early. But these 2 have an abnormally amount of returning production. So a lot coming back to these 2 super tier programs, and I'll take them against the field.
You mentioned the depth it takes to win 3 or 4 playoff games. That's been my number one thing looking at sort of who can win a championship, because you might win 1 game. We've seen Washington and TCU do the last couple of years, but now you have to win 2, 3, and maybe 4 to win a championship. So outside of those 2 teams, who are the ones with the depth, at least to get maybe to a semifinal or championship game? Is it Oregon? Is it Texas? Is it Penn State? Is it Alabama? Who's sort of next up with the talent needed to win 3 or 4 playoff games?
Yeah, well, I'll go with Oregon here. This isn't your Oregon of the past where they have the hyper tempo offense, the gadgety offense. This is really built from the inside out, built in the trenches, started by Mario Cristobal, but now continue with Dan Lanning. And I think they found a new tier, a higher tier of recruiting that we ever thought possible for Oregon recently. They're the only program in the country to stack top 10 high school classes and top 10 transfer classes the last 2 cycles. So high quality players coming in from both the high school and transfer ranks. They return a lot. They could have or maybe should have won the Joe Moore Award last year for the top offensive line. 3 starters back from that unit. The big question coming in was going to be at quarterback, losing Bo Nix, but they go and backfill with Dylan Gabriel, who himself was in the Heisman race last year until mid-October from Oklahoma. So they lose a veteran QB. They bring in another really veteran guy in Gabriel. And I think this is a high-powered machine. And they're right there with Ohio State for number 1 and number 2 in the Big Ten. So I'll go with Oregon number 3 overall.
And Dante Moore as well was quite the coup to get him to come into Eugene as well. If something should happen to Gabriel, or even looking forward to next year, I'm sure the Oregon program appreciates that check cashing, Geoff, for the Schwartz NIL fund there out in Eugene. But I think what you said is key about the depth, and what people may or may not realize, because I still think there's probably some confusion on how the playoff is structured, how the team is seeded. And I think you and I know how it is, but I'm not sure if a lot of people understand that. Like, if you say Oregon and Texas are the 2 teams that potentially could win the title outside of Ohio State and Georgia, if you're not conference champ, you've got to play in that out bracket game. You got to play three games just to get there. So you're playing in the 5-12 game or the 6-11 game if you're second place in the SEC or the Big Ten. And while we think Oregon and Texas are that good, are you going to be able to play 2 games and then beat Ohio State or Georgia in the semifinal, and then beat Ohio State or Georgia again in the title game? I think it makes it a very difficult proposition for anybody outside those 2 teams. So I did play the Ohio State and Georgia versus the field, and I certainly think that there is a situation where if I would think Ohio State or Georgia should be in the title game. On the other side, if I want to buy back and take the dog on the money line or take the dog plus some points, there'll probably be an opportunity there to lock in a profit.
Bear Bets full episodes drop twice a week right here on the Bear Bets YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to stay ahead of the odds, and let's celebrate all of our wins together.